Gosling piece of furniture is the time taken to understand what you want to create. It's a sense of absolutely the best quality and it being absolutely right for the space. The work I do ranges from just one piece of furniture for one room that literally brings the whole thing together, or it's an entire selection of pieces of furniture for one room, or for a house to have 4 or 5 pieces. And there's just as much focus on the one piece of furniture as there is for 7 or 8 pieces of furniture. I'm involved in every single piece, right from the concept all the way through into the final delivery. And I will oversee all the details and the communication of that. I suppose my job is to be able to take the client's ideas and my own background of understanding about how to create, spaces, and then meld them together. So it's just as much the client's idea as it is my idea. Each piece should be uniquely different and designed for whoever it's being designed for. The initial meeting for me is just about the initial meeting. I don't charge any fees for that at all. I can't give a cost until the actual sketch has been done. The product doesn't exist. We're creating something which has not been created before. So therefore, they're buying something which doesn't exist. And that for me is an easy process. For the client, it's slightly more confusing to work out how that really happens. I think the great thing about the first meeting for me is being able to sketch a design, an idea, and then you can both look at that, and words don't get in the way. Sometimes, actually, I'll take the client to a museum and we'll walk around the V&A furniture galleries, and we'll be able to start a conversation that says, well, this is walnut, and I didn't realize that was walnut, and this is what you did with, some ivory inlays, in the 18th century, and this is what happens here, and I think that's a dialogue for them. They're learning, and that's, they're pushing the barriers, and they help me push the barriers then. Materials for me are, I guess, a passion. I mean, I get incredibly excited about different materials. If it fits with the architecture, I will suggest, let's look at shagreen, or let's look at Eglamise, and there might be a vellum here. Have you seen this? I use a lot of native English pieces of wood, timber. English sycamore, English walnut, English oak, and cherry. I use pieces of timber from different parts of the world in small quantities as veneers and things in order to be able to create a palette of pieces of furniture, so that you can look at the contrast between, I suppose, a kind of a London plane and a sycamore, or you can use Madrona burr, which comes down from the south of France, which is beautiful. So you've got an extraordinary range, probably about 50 or 60 veneered timbers that you can use, and probably about 7 or 8 main timbers. The cost of a piece of furniture is purely calculated on how long it takes to make it. So the materials, whether you have it in oak, sycamore, walnut, mahogany, really don't make any difference at all. It's how long it's going to take that particular craftsman. One craftsman makes one piece to be able to achieve that piece of furniture. It ranges from, you're looking at 8,000, 10,000 for a dining table. If you make that expanding, you have to put the lopers and you have to put a whole stretcher system underneath it, and the leaves go in. It goes up to about 15 to 20,000, and it depends whether you're going to have light boxes within it or inlays, but generally speaking, those are about the price ranges for pieces of furniture. For me, this isn't work. This is something which actually involves my entire life and everything that I find interesting and exciting about the museums, or any form of architecture that I read. Every single thing that I touch influences the things that I do, and because of that, it's not work. It's absolutely just pure pleasure. I delivered a whole set of pieces of furniture yesterday, and the sheer joy of working with a client who then sees the design, having gone through the design process, but the actual final piece fitting into their home in exactly the way that it should. Every single line of the drawing room, every single way that the details work, with the kind of chrome working with this, with the black lacquer reflecting exactly what it should. It's mesmerizing. It's the most beautiful thing to see.